Hi, Joe. I wanted to thank you for coming to my podcast today.
Jonathan, big fan. Glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. But before we start our conversation, I wanted to do what's customary on our podcast, the question of the day.
Uh-huh.
Well, today's question is, what is the most important experience you've had for the past year?
Does that have to be something personal from my life, or...
No. Anything goes.
Well, a year's a long time, but it feels so little, you know? I mean, short. Time's kind of funny that way.
Sure. I know what you mean.
So yeah, it's hard to pinpoint something that happened in the last year. I feel like I'm accidentally going to say something from like 5.
Of course. Okay, let's make it... What is the most important question that you've had? Actually, let's backtrack. What is the most important experience that you've had in the past 5 years?
Well, I could list off a couple of things. The recent photo of the black hole was pretty cool. And, definitely the invention of the shared lucid dreaming device.
Yes, the lucid dreaming device. Elon Musk is an innovator. What is your most interesting experience with it?
Well, I recently went lucid, sharing a dream with someone who wasn't lucid. They started chasing me after they lost lucidity. It was pretty scary since it felt like hours.
Would you say you were trapped in a nightmare?
Yeah, no, I came back as normal as I can be. It was a pretty scary experience, though.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to come back from that safely. Hi, Jonathan. I wanted to thank you for coming onto my podcast today. Jonathan, big fan. Glad to be in deep sunken Ryla, Cthulhu deep in sleep. Well, before we start our conversation, I want to do what's customary on our podcast, the question of the day. Hi, Joe. Glad to have you on my podcast.
Jonathan, I'm a big fan. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to get right into it and talk about your newest discovery.
Oh, right on. Am I allowed to plug my book in here?
By all means.
All right, cool. So, I think that I might get a couple of naysayers. So, I want those watching at home to take me a little seriously, because what I'm about to say is truly groundbreaking. I've been working with this company, the Heads in Cups Corporation.
Right.
I'm sure you know them. They're
I do.
high profile.
I own the cups.
Right, and we've been running some experiments, truly groundbreaking stuff. What I've come to your podcast for today is to disclose our newest discoveries about astral projection.
Fascinating.
Right, I could see the doubt in your face, so I might want to explain it a little more. It's not exactly like astral projection in the normal sense of the word. We called it that just because it's similar. So I guess to start off, have you ever had an out-of-body experience?
I've read about it.
Right, it's very similar to that, where you feel these places, right, and they seem so real, and they're tactile and the physics work. And here, if I can show you, to start it off, you get into a dark place, right, and you imagine it, and these locations are absolutely tactile, and Well, if you want, Jonathan, I guess we can try to start something right now.
I don't think so.
No? Alright.
I don't think so.
Well, is there anything else you want me to explain?
Well, these astral projections, they're kind of like going to another place, but would you say they're within our world?
Well, it's hard to say because it's not exactly proven yet, you know? Right.
Well, this idea has been around for centuries, I believe,
Right.
several textbooks.
Yes.
And it's a big scientific debate on whether... Well, I wanted to get right into it and ask about your newest discovery.
Yeah, so that's right. Discovering multiverses, of course, is a pretty big deal.
Well, can you explain the vast consequences of that?
Okay, well, what happens is when things collide, different realities sort of begin to separate from one another. It's analogous to sort of Newton's third law, right? So Newton's third law states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right?
Right, I remember that.
In the case of universes, for every universe, there's an equal and opposite universe. And let's say in a theoretical situation, right, where someone would just happen to puncture a hole between these parallel universes, then it sort of creates this limbo state where reality is constantly folding onto one another, where it's sort of trying to fill in this hole in an attempt to balance out this reality and keep it stable.
That's a little intense.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances of this happening?
Oh, based on my calculations, it's incredibly low. It's like almost no chance of happening.
So it would never happen.
Never.
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 Anyways, how does this work?
Mars! There are magnets on the other side of Mars, Jonathan. That's pretty interesting. Well, before we move on, here's a word from our sponsors.
Sometimes things get tough. And that's okay. There's always Sky Vortex. Endless Void. Eternally ending. Both night and day. Pain and suffering. Vacuumed out into the cold, hot blades of eternity. Only at Walmart.
Not available in all states. Ask your doctor if this is right for you.
Hi everyone, welcome back to This is Podcast C. Today we're joined by our special guest, Jonathan.
Hi, Joe.
Great
to be back.
Hi, Jonathan.
Once again,
big fan. Glad to be back. No,
I'm telling you, it's all
I'm
collapsing!
turning gay.
I don't feel so good.
Well, yeehaw, Jonathan. We can't talk about that here, and I want to consume your pants. You know what? Maybe I will drink some milk. Thank you very much.
Wait. You need to put it piece by piece for me.
I'm telling you, it's a Scientologist! Newton had it right all along! F equals ma. Fire equals master of all universes!
No escape.
Not even the physics god can save us.
that's all the time we have today. It's been a blast, Joe.
Thank you, Jonathan. I had a lot of fun.
Tune in next time for This is Podcast C, where we will be investigating bees emerging from your nipples. Subscribe for more content from this channel. See you next time.